Alright, I didn't really think this deck would be a budget deck, but I guess from the news last week that Tenpai is going to be pretty much all super rares and commons, we're looking at probably one of the cheapest competitive decks going into the next format. So my first thoughts on this deck was that it is pretty much just a gimmick, and it relied on the battle phase too much, and the battle phase can be something that's skipped with cards such as Battle Fader, Threatening Roar, etc. So there's a lot of cards that can counter this strategy, which makes me not the biggest fan of it, but I do think it is quite scary and needs to be respected. So yeah, this is pretty much the core of the deck, which is pretty insane. And then Bidora as well, which is the white dragon, is also confirmed as a super rare. So I'm going to show you guys a budget deck list for the next format that is pretty accessible straight out of the blocks as soon as the set drops, and can probably win you a couple of games. I don't think it'll be the best deck of the format. I think it's too much of a gimmick to make it the best deck, especially when people counter for it, because it'll be so accessible. But saying that, I do think it needs to be respected, because this deck can like kill quickly. And yeah, so yeah, I played with the deck quite a bit, and obviously because it's a go second deck, you can just put you can just put the deck going first, but there's a lot of ways to work around that, especially with Ancient Fairy Dragon. It can search essentially any field spell, and having that sort of toolbox in the game can be quite scary, because you can play cards such as Zombie World, Secret Village, and then cards such as Necro Valley as well. So I do think this deck is can definitely compete. I don't think it'll be the best deck because it relies on a gimmick, but at the same time it does need to be respected because of the accessibility. But essentially, so because I played this deck last couple of days, just testing it, see how it felt. I'm not playing the Trident Dragón at the moment because that card would not make this budget. There's also an SP and then a Typhon in the side deck as well at the moment, along with a bunch of the one-offs, just for conversation's sake. I'm going to put these out of the deck list, but if you wanted to upgrade the deck, or if you had access to these cards, I probably would play them. But as you can see here, I've got a slot blank, which could literally just be anything. It could literally just be like any other synchro. Could play a double Black Rose Dragon if you really wanted to, or just triple up on one of the Sanguine Sanguine Synchro monsters. I think that's probably the best way to do it. But yeah, this deck is pretty budget. All these cards are in Rarity Collection, as well as the deck being like common and super, which is nuts. So yeah, for the engine, obviously 3 Bidora, 3 Zongdora, and then one of the Fedora as well. This one's the worst one because it relies on you playing already, and it's not a one-card starter. The rest of them are kind of one-card starters. I mean, this is kind of just an extender, but it's the only tuner in the deck, so you want to play 3 of it. And then a field spell, which is nuts, probably one of the best cards yeah, in the deck, apart from the fact that you can just kill with like any of them, because it gets you a quicker OTK because you can pop it with the Bident Dragón, and it doubles attack of one of your Dragon Synchros, which is always nice, and then a quick play, of course. I'm not going to explain these cards too much because I think most people know what they do, but I just wanted to give like a deck list for reference, because people are going to be playing this deck and kind of teach you what you should be looking to do when you play the deck. Also some tech cards in the side deck that can stop this as well as help you if you want to play it. So yeah, this is pretty much a standard list. I think there was like a Kong's Cards tournament that a guy played similar list to this. So yeah, you just want to blind second and to kill your opponent, and that's super easy to do. Plays around Nib, plays around Baylor. Imperm isn't really that much of a deal. So this deck does like naturally mitigate a lot of these hand traps in the format, which is quite scary because we've just gone from like a hand trap heavy format, and now we've got a deck in the format that doesn't really care about them and then can OTK you so you don't get another turn. So it's quite interesting to see how this is going to pair. Yeah, so the deck's like fairly standard. I expect to see a lot less similar to this. I'm playing set rotation, just another way to see the field spell, and it can already give you like another tech field spell if you already have access to your engine and the opponent puts you first. You can just set rotation, especially if they have hand traps for the Ancient Fairy Dragon. You can just set rotation into something else, which is quite nice. And then for tech cards, I think Pagratops is probably nice to throw into this deck going second. Shifter's really good going first to skip your opponent's turn or ensure they don't kill you, because it's really hard for decks to kill into Shifter. Cosmic, obviously, for back row hate. Could also play Twin Twister as well, but it depends on the format and how that shapes up. And then other cards to aid this strategy would be Zombie World and Secret Village. Zombie World, you can literally just like end on it if you play a deck like Dragon, Flu, Plant. You can just Ancient Fairy Dragon to search this and then activate it, and then yeah, it's pretty strong. Also, Secret Village is also very good against like if people want to play the Snake Eye stuff with Sky Striker engine, you can just end on a Heater, which will probably be the last card. Heater, the Fire Charmer Blaze. You can just end on that with your end board with a Crystal Wing, because you can make Zolkin, Ancient Fairy, and then Ancient Fairy special summon Fedora. That special summons a Zongdora, and then you can Synchro summon into Zolkin, set the field spell you added off this, and then that triggers this to summon this. So you can end on Crystal Wing, Heater, with a Secret Village, which is very good against like even Runic Stun as well. That like FTK's Runic Stun. So yeah, pretty good. And then of course the cards that counter this strategy would be Threatening Roar. People are saying like play Wabuku, but obviously this makes it so they can't declare any attacks, which is a lot better. And then D-Barrier of course is very, very strong. It's gonna suck that this card's back in the format, so makes Snake Eye probably even more well positioned than it already is. Or like Snake Eye Fire King, or whichever version is more prevalent. Because Branded hasn't been hit, I think this card would be in the format, and Pearly has just got a big buff as well. I think having 2 Delicious Memory is actually huge. So I think this card could probably come back in the format, which sucks for these Synchro decks and XYZ decks, and Fusion decks of course, but it's what it is. And then Trap Trick of course to turbo into these guys, if you really want to go heavy on them. And then a card like Heatwave, which is a pretty funny card, but you can literally just play it in this deck and it skips your opponent's turn. Same sort of role as Shifter. So I think Heatwave is a bit pricey right now, but you could just play Shifter, or just play like other Floodgates over it, or like more hand traps to be fair. Because if your opponent puts you first, you can just pass, hand trap them, and then try and kill them on the follow up. But yeah, a rivalry obviously, because the cards are all dragons, you can just make a rivalry, which is probably quite solid. You could probably even main deck this. You could also play Goza Match as well, depending on how the format shapes up. But I think rivalry is probably the more solid one. And then that's pretty much it. And then you kind of just like see how your locals or your regionals, nationals even, is going to line up, and then just play your side deck accordingly. If you want to play a budget option, and then when if Trident Dragon gets a reprint, great, you can just throw that into the extra deck, and that allows you to kill through multiple cards more efficiently. But I think from what the games that I played already, this deck can literally kill through semi-full boards or like half boards. It can kill through it. Open boards obviously kills through it. Semi-half boards it can kill through it, and then even some niche scenarios where your opponent has like omnis and stuff, like having a non-engine like Droplet and Chalice really do help in that situation. Like I was playing my friend playing Sky Striker against this deck, and yeah, like even the Ray Engrave to tag out for Kaina is like not very good, because you can just chain the small dragons to quick synchro to dodge the Kaina and kill. I don't think that interaction would be that prevalent, because Striker I don't think it will be that popular as a pure deck. But I'm just saying there's so many applications to just dodge stuff with the quick synchro. So this deck is scary. I would definitely expect to play a decent amount of it with it being so accessible. So if you guys want to see more sort of budget deck profiles, let me know. I might even play this deck at locals, so if you want to see more content of this deck getting played, let me know, and I'll happily test it out for you guys. But if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe, like, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.